All right, the essence of kettlebell lifting is really more about integration than isolation. We want to integrate and pull in as many parts as possible to create a desired result. The same is true with the kettlebell military press and the kettlebell jerk. With the kettlebell military press, we are trying to create total tension through the entire body. Okay, so like so. Once we clean the bell into place, and we talked about the clean a little bit earlier, and our handle placement is right, we now want to crush grip the handle of the bell. We want to make sure that the arm is against our side, and make sure that our hand is not out here in this broken arm position, but that it's in under our ear, under our chin. And now we want to start to create tension through our entire body. We want to tighten the abs, we want to tighten the quads and glutes, by tilting the pelvis forward and creating an anal lock, okay? And even start to create tension in the opposite arm. Sniff in to create pressure and power breathing and pull the bell back down into place. Another technique for creating tension would be to drive the feet into the ground and imagine turning your heels in to create more tension to the legs and the glutes and the abdominal area. Sniff in and pull the bell back down into place. Another thing that we can do to create tension, if you could imagine having an orange underneath your arm and trying to squeeze that orange as hard as you could. One of the things you're going to feel happen is you're going to feel your chest start to contract and your lats, this big back muscle, start to contract. While the lats are not considered a pushing muscle, they're considered more of a pulling muscle. The more muscle recruitment we pull in, the stronger we're going to be. Okay? Remember, tension is strength. So the more muscle recruitment we have, the more we create high tension, the stronger we're going to be, and the stronger our press is going to be. So if we can imagine squeezing that orange, creating tension with the lats, and now using the lats to pull the arm open, and use an open the gate technique, and now press the bell overhead, and actively pull it back down into place, just like you were doing a pull-up, we're going to be safe. We're going to have a much stronger press. I'm now flexing every muscle in my body, twisting the heels in, pelvis is tilted forward, tightening the abs. Breathe in to pressurize. Actively pull it back down into place. And actively pull it back down into place. Very high tension movement. Remember to maintain total tension, and you're going to see your presses go up. Another way that we can use integration to achieve this same lockout overhead is in the GS or competition style jerk. Okay, with the jerk, you're going to notice that there are a few similarities and there are a few differences. Number one, we are going to pull the bell up into a good rack position. We're going to change it slightly. It's even more important now that we tilt our hips forward. We drop our elbow to our hip. And we turn our hands slightly out. Now instead of creating total tension, we want total relaxation. And we want to involve as many joints as possible. For the kettlebell jerk, we're going to dip at the knees. We're going to drive the bell up in a straight line, and we're going to catch it overhead. So it should look something like this. We're going to control drop it from the top. Notice anatomical match breathing instead of power breathing. From a different angle, I want you to notice how my knees get forward on the first dip and drive the bell up. If we were to push our hips backwards, like many people teach, and like we teach with barbell Olympic lifts, our arm would lose contact with our hip. And really we drive the bell off our hip. So we go from a situation where it's really pretty poor posture. Shoulders forward, hips tilted forward, straight legs, to dipping the knees, driving up, now pushing the hips back and standing up. So we go from bad posture to good posture. I want you to notice the different tracks that we take when we perform the kettlebell military press with the half moon trajectory. Pull it back down into place. And once again. And when we perform the competition style jerk, notice that the jerk trajectory is straight up and down. The bell's going to travel in a straight line from my hip overhead. Notice the change in breathing. And one more time. So one thing I love about kettlebell training is this. For people with shoulder issues, unilateral work with the shoulders helps the client, helps the student find their own groove, if you will. For myself, having shoulder surgery and having some shoulder issues, there's some things that I can do with the kettlebell that I would have never been able to do with the bar. The bar fixes your shoulders in a certain position and doesn't allow you to move the bell to a position that feels better for your shoulders or that reduces the pain. So from that standpoint, training unilaterally is a big benefit of kettlebell training. There's a place for both these high tension techniques and these quick kettlebell competition lifts in your training protocol. As I said earlier, I'm about all things kettlebell. I think there's a time to incorporate high tension techniques for maximal strength, and there's a time to learn how to relax so that you can go the distance like they do in kettlebell sport.
The kettlebell military press is a great exercise for developing pressing strength and learning to integrate full body tension. Even though you can perform this movement without total body tension, why not make it a whole body exercise by maximizing as much muscle recruitment as possible? You're going to be much stronger, and especially if you're a beginning lifter, it's going to be a much safer exercise, and you're going to get more bang for the buck. Now, creating full body tension or irradiation is more difficult than it sounds. I like to teach clients to start off by crush gripping the handle, making a fist with the opposite hand, and then one at a time start by flexing the abs, the glutes, the quads, and screwing the heels into the ground. Okay, now let's look at the jerk. The jerk is a very explosive, very athletic exercise. It's also the first exercise in the biathlon in kettlebell sport. While its cousin, the Olympic jerk, is typically performed for no more than 5 reps in a set, the kettlebell jerk can be performed safely for high rep sets, allowing an athlete to train for the end of the contest when everything's on the line and it really matters. I want you to watch technique with the kettlebell jerk. We have a great rack position. The arm's pretty perpendicular to the ground. We're driving the elbow off of the hip into a good lockout position up top. Now I want you to really watch the triple extension in the legs. I'm going to dip at the knees, drive up to the toes, and you can see the ankle, the knees, and the hips all come into play when driving the kettlebell overhead. This is a very explosive movement. It's a great conditioning movement. Once again, integrating a lot of different joints. This is one that you definitely, if you're an athlete, you need in your training protocol.